Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This your daily go getterism number 625 for June 19th, 2016. It's June 19th and it's also Juneteenth. And it's also Happy Father's Day. So first of all, I want to say Happy Juneteenth Day to all of the black people in the United States who understand what being black in America is all about, and how the only way you can achieve freedom is to take it for yourself. Second of all, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there, not just the ones who are fathers because they have offspring, but I'm talking about the fathers who really are out there proactively trying to make things better, trying to improve things for our situation, and trying to build those families and get our people to a level of respectability, pride, and worth, you know? And you know, that's a pretty decent segue into what we're talking about today, because what we're talking about today is remembering where you come from. Remembering where you come from. And normally when people say that you need to remember where you come from, they mean that whatever neighborhood you grew up in and whatever socioeconomic status that you grew up with, you need to remember that, because you could always find yourself back in that situation once again if you don't handle your business correctly. And they also mean that the people who you grew up with, the people who were in your neighborhood, the people who shaped your thinking, the people who were there, you know what I mean, while you were practicing the jump shots in the gym, you know what I mean, like you need to remember where you come from, because plenty of them are still there, whether they're there physically or whether they're there mentally. Remember where you come from. Can you get, now we know that you can always go back home to the physical place where you come from, the physical neighborhood that you come from. Yeah, you can always go home. Sometimes we're forced to go back home when wherever we went didn't work out for us. But what about mentally and emotionally? Can you ever go back home? You know, you need to remember where you came from mentally and emotionally, but can you ever go back to where you were mentally and emotionally? That's not an easy thing to do. It's almost like hardly anybody can go back to where they came from. You can remember where you came from, but hopefully, as you've learned, as you've experienced, as you've grown, you've left where you come from. And there's hardly any place, any way that you can ever get back to where you were before. But although you may not be able to get back there mentally and emotionally, perhaps you can help somebody else out who is going through what you went through mentally and emotionally. And maybe you can get them through it. Maybe you can help them through those rough times, those rough patches. Maybe you can assist them and make it a better way for themselves. Because it's hard. It's hard growing up. You got to admit that. It's hard becoming a man. It's hard becoming a woman in the purest sense of what that really means. See, when you become a man, that means that you're leaving those childish games behind. You're leaving that childish ignorance behind. You're leaving behind that innocence. You know, we said that on the show this morning. Don't let your ignorance be your innocence, or your innocence is your ignorance. Because when you don't know certain things, you think in a certain kind of way, and you think that the possibilities are based on the things that you know. But really, your possibilities are based on the things that you don't know. And that's a big world, because there's so much knowledge out here that we will never have. We will never come into. No matter whether we study, and whether we go, meet, live. We'll never learn it all. What we will do is we'll find a place where we can be, leaving the place where we come from behind. But do we remember where we come from? Do we remember where we come from? Like, take your career for example. You know how when we're younger, we think we look at some of the adults that we grow up around, and we think we ain't gonna be like them. We ain't gonna make those kind of mistakes. We ain't gonna do what they did. We ain't going down that road. We gonna be rich. We gonna be famous. We gonna be right. My kids gonna have everything. I'm gonna have everything. We gonna live this life. We gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. But the wheels gonna be like 28-inch rims, shining chrome. And as you live your life, you realize that things aren't as easy as the way that you thought that they were, because planning things out in your mind is different from living it out in real time, experiencing that, living that. But you live and you learn, and that's why you can't go back to where you were before. You know, sometimes we try to go back to where we were before because we think that that was the easy way. You know, we value the time when we ain't care. We ain't give a fuck. We thought that it was always going to be this way. Think about the friends that you had before. Are they still there? Think about the way you thought that things was going to be. Do you still think that way? Think about the car that you thought you was going to drive. Are you driving that? Think about the house that you dreamed of and envisioned. Do you live in that? Think about the career that you said you was going to have. Did you live that? Are you working that? And that's not to say that if those things aren't the way that you had planned them out and the way that you thought that they were going to be, it's not to say that you're a failure. You're not a failure until you give up. Giving up is a fail. So you don't ever want to fail in life. What you want to do is you want to keep trying. You want to keep yourself motivated. Keep going. Because eventually you'll get there. There are going to be new things. Things that you have to accept. Things that you have to reject, and ways that you have to live, things that you have to learn. That's all. It's going to be alright. It's going to be alright. But it's hard to go back to where you came from, no matter how hard you try. You know what I mean? You break up with somebody in a relationship or something like that, you can't go back to feeling exactly the way that you felt about them, whether it was your fault for the breakup or whether it was their fault. You can't go back to that exact same place, but you will remember where you came from. Learning helps you remember. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things. Hold up, before I do that, think about any relationship that you were a part of. I don't care whether it was a job. I don't care whether it was a romantic relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend. I don't care if it was a social relationship like a club, an organization. I don't care if it was a marriage. When you separate, when things happen, when two minds aren't on the same page, and y'all have to seek out different ways, y'all might come back together, but things can never exactly be the same. They might be better, but they won't be the same. But you'll remember where you came from. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember where you always come from. You can always go back to the place where you came from physically, but when you go back to that place physically, you're going to notice a change in yourself. You're going to notice either the same thing going on with the people who were there, and that might explain why they are there, but it's also going to explain why you can't get there. You can get there physically, but you won't be able to get there mentally and emotionally. But don't let that get you down. It's going to be all right. Yo, the spring cleaning event is this Saturday. I want to let y'all know that right now. We got a week to promote this thing. It's going to be hot. Just like it always is. We're going for that hike out there in the woods, Rittenhouse Street and Wissahickon Avenue, 10 a.m. Make sure y'all come through. It's always a good time on the spring cleaning event. And yeah, you will love it. I'll holler at y'all later though. Peace.